to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DAX Machina. We are going to be talking about an interesting subject tonight. A lot of people have asked us a lot of questions about how to process evidence, how to process scenes when they find cryptid evidence, or how to document things. And we're going to kind of go into that in pretty big detail tonight. Joining me tonight is Ants Honey, and Robbie Ocala. And we got a little pocket dog.
No, Aunt Honey.
Aunt Honey and Robbie. And Robbie in Ocala. Steve Lilly rides again. That's what happens when you let the Marine try to spell things.
Oh, I see it capped, and then I put it in lower.
Great for some crayon.
Yeah, it would be even better if we could find a crayon font.
I'm not gonna.
Boys, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I think Ant's already been into the happy sauce.
I've had some lager that I've been drinking already. I'm number 4 into it already, so yeah.
Voice.
That's what happens when you don't eat.
You left me down here with this by myself, Doc.
Marty's sending you some green crayons there, Ant.
Thanks, Marty, with the crayon. But you got it right. It's red. They're red crayons.
They taste like strawberries.
Oh,
He needs green to mellow him out.
yeah, green mellows me out, not red. Red makes me crazy.
For those of you who've been with us for a while in the show, I'm reviving an old tradition tonight. AKA Robert Miller in the house, if he's in the house tonight. We're reviving the canteen cup tonight, so.
It's called piss cups. Yeah.
Oh.
Love you, Aunt. She says, love you, Aunt.
Oh, Aunt Honey.
Oh, Aunt Honey.
Aunt Honey. Oh, Ryan Burke's in the house. One of my buddies from Horror Chronicles. Hey, brother, thank you for sharing the link. Appreciate it, man. Lil Patty says you've been drinking iguana juice.
Not yet. Soon.
Oh, here's a good one for you, DA.
What's that?
Steve Bowen. Sorry if I messed your name up, man. Steve Bowen. I'm from Mississippi. I mess everybody's name up. I recently got 68 Roberts books for my I think in B-Day instead of Braid, since probably not a donkey. B-Day. Happy belated birthday. He said I love cryptid stuff.
Hey, happy birthday, man! Thank you. I'm glad. I hope you glad you got some of my books, and I hope you enjoy them, man. Thank you so much. So, boys, how you guys been? Steve says he's in North Carolina.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Look at that shit.
North Kakalaki.
You come here and he's by you almost. Yeah. All right. We're all over the country. North Carolina, Florida, you know.
So before we go crazy talking about evidence, speaking of evidence, our two bad spelling intrepid adventurers over here may have found a track yesterday.
I didn't spell nothing. That was all recall.
Do tell. Spill it. What's all got?
Robbie, I can't speak right now because I'm.
So
tell us about your tracks.
Where exactly was that?
The bombing range in Ocala National Forest.
Yeah.
You've talked about that one before.
Yeah. We was out around that naval bombing range there, Doc. And
Sweet.
Just we go out right where the you either got to go left or right because the straight ahead's locked up because that's taking you out on the bombing range. So we took a left, started going on, I guess probably a quarter of a mile maybe after we made that turn.
Yeah. And we weren't even halfway around we could came out and round it and came right back up 13.
And we get out just pretty much at a random spot because it looked like the hill up. For most of that road, you could see the berm, but you couldn't really see much of anything on the sides. It just kind of looked like it was a nice clear spot where we just, for whatever reason, decided to get out and stop. And
no, I spotted it. Remember I backed up?
That was we're talking about the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You spotted that one
later
on, but first place we got out when we found that other one. So we get out, and Anthony's on one side of the road, me and Uncle John are on the other side of the road, and of course we found a couple of beer bottles and stuff like that, or beer cans for people were being stupid and throwing stuff out and leaving it. Well, I just started walking back down the road, and it was probably what, 1:30 a.m. or something like that, and shining my flashlight, and I saw what looked like a heel print, and I was like, and I got looking at it, and it was smooth. There was no tread pattern or anything like that.
Well, because it rained 2 days beforehand.
Couldn't find any toe marks, but it was about that wide and probably about that long.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
I got an 11 and a half, and it was probably a good 3 or 4 inches longer than mine.
Yeah.
And
no, we're going back out there tonight. We're going to head back after dinner.
Well, I had my GoPro on, but it was, I don't know how to put it in night vision mode. So
okay.
So all the videos just, you can hear us talking, but it's just all dark.
No, that's cool, man. That is cool.
But that's why I didn't think anything about taking a picture, because I had that on. Which so anyway, I called Anthony over and said, "Hey, come here, look at this." So we both got looking at it. And like I said, you couldn't see any toe marks or anything like that. But I mean, it was a pretty
good
size.
2 of them. Yeah, there was one, and then there was another one. What, 2 feet ahead of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next one I'll let you tell about.
And then we get back in the truck and we're driving around the bowling range, and that's where Uncle John fell up a berm instead of down a berm. But we get to the bowling range area, and these two is a berm, and you can see where all the game trails, all the game is coming over the top of this berm. And then behind, on my side on the left, there's a game trail. And as we're driving, I happen to look down because I have all those off-road lights on the truck.
Spaceship.
And I got the ditch lights. So the ditch lights were hitting the sides of the ditch in the woods. And I seen the print. I was like, what the hell? And I stopped the truck, I back it up, and I get out, and I don't know, about that big it was?
Yeah, about that big.
No, print about that big, but it had distinct toe marks in it. So I asked Robbie to come over and look at it, and either it's a back pad from a bear or a recep, or it could be. I mean, it was pretty big for a bear print.
And then right beside that, there's a canine print that's about that big around.
That big.
So it was definitely an active area for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's very active out there, they said, but, well, and then Uncle John was trying to do maneuvers over the top of the.
He was just providing overwatch for y'all, man.
He was distracting the Bigfoot. They're looking at him like, what the hell is this guy doing?
He's doing certain things out there.
Is Uncle John up there doing the Macarena? So
all you see is the flashlight in the middle of the night. You just see this. Whoop! I'm like, what is he doing?
Dancing, man. He's getting after it with that light. He's like,
Bunny. Yeah. He gets to the truck and he goes, yeah, I'm okay. I got my inhaler. I'm good. So no, it was all right. It was cold last night. What did it drop down to? Almost.
I think the lowest I heard you say was like 41.
41 degrees last night out there.
That's pretty chilly.
In April in Florida.
In the swamp.
Yeah.
It was
all the humidity. That's pretty doggone chilly.
I had to throw Robbie a friggin' sweatshirt.
I had a long sleeve shirt on too.
And we both had long sleeve sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts on, and I had a sweatshirt on, and I threw him one. Yeah, it got chilly, man. I had the heat pumping in the truck. It was pretty chilly.
Y'all don't get to pee pneumonia.
Yeah, it was nuts. Right, celebrating my.
Jake Light celebrating his 13th anniversary today. Hey, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, my man. Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah, they knew we were out there. There's cameras everywhere, sensors.
Speaking of, we stopped on the road. This before we found the tracks.
Oh.
And Anthony turned the truck off, and it was dead silent.
I mean,
there was no No bugs, no frogs, no nothing.
Nothing. I mean, it was so quiet. You know when you get that fuzzy ring in your ear?
The same level of quiet. That's what I told him. I said, what me and Jessica was talking about.
Yeah.
This is where it went from that crescendo to nothing. And I said, and this is what that nothing sounded like. It was just like a vacuum.
But not even a cricket. There was not even a cricket. I mean, nothing. Frogs, nothing.
Well, we've had the shit bombed out of them. I wouldn't be there either.
No, this is before we got to the bombing range.
Oh, okay.
This is on the main. This is on the main dirt road that we.
Oh, okay.
That was like 100, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Into the
Ocala Forest.
Yeah.
Right off the main road, off of 40.
Dang, man.
Dead quiet. Like I mean, dead. Like no.
That's creepy. That's creepy quiet. Is what that is.
I even said it to him. I said, "Bro, it is not even a cricket."
Yeah, that's creepy quiet right there, son. Faux show.
Yeah, it was nuts. And it was a clear night, cold. The deer were all over the place. There were deer running all over last night.
I'm surprised y'all didn't see any hogs last night.
That's what I said. I said, I'm surprised we didn't see hogs or bear.
Yeah.
There was bear prints, but we didn't see any. Yeah.
There's a good many hogs down there, ain't they?
The what?
There's a good many hogs down there, ain't they?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, all over the place out there. All over. Matt says hi from Outcast. Hey, Matt, that's
hey, Matt.
Marty's son. Hey, Matt, that's Marty's son. Yeah, there's a bear, even the bear here. We have more bear, and I think on Ocala than I think Tallahassee and Pensacola combined.
Oh, you were talking earlier. Marty said she's bringing us a tape measure tomorrow, so we won't be out there without tape measure.
But what? The track?
Yeah, when you were talking about track, I saw her comment. Said she's bringing. Don't worry, boys, I'm bringing a tape measure for you tomorrow.
And I have one in the truck. I had a tape measure in the truck too, in my tool bag. I didn't think.
Damn it, Bobby.
I know.
I had cameras and pew pews. That's all I was supposed to do.
Yeah, I had my pew pewing camera too, but we got out and seen it.
Well, I'm glad y'all are safe. Y'all please be careful going out there.
Definitely. It was cold enough you wouldn't have walked up on a snake, but you might have walked up on something else.
No, you didn't feel anything eerie or anything.
I mean, just other than the fact that it's quiet.
Just quiet. I mean, I didn't get an eerie feeling of we were being watched or dangerous or. I mean, really.
Other than Uncle John watched us from the top of the berm.
Yeah, we were just left in there for fucking bait. That's all.
He had y'all on Overwatch.
Mm-hmm. We'd have left his ass there. He can't get to the truck quick enough. That's it.
You're going to be sacrificed, Uncle John. We love you.
Northwood says put lipstick and glasses on one of them hogs that look like his ex.
Shots fired.
He's starting already. All right.
So, over the last couple of years, a lot of folks have asked us about the best ways to document things, be that stick structures, be that footprint evidence, how to collect and how to handle evidence. And it's kind of things we've talked a little bit here and there, but we've never really dedicated a whole evening to it. And tonight we kind of wanted to do that. I mean, if you're going to be spending any time at all, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of serious cryptid hunting, like Bill K was saying, he's going to LBL. If you're going to be going someplace like that and you want to be able to document what you find, you need to be more prepared, because it's not just something you can find laying loose in the back of your car. You kind of got to prepare for this stuff. What do you guys recommend as a good kit? Like a case for the kit.
Ox, Dark Angel.
No, he's talking about evidence.
Oh,
just a kit for the cat for your evidence kit.
Dark Angel. No, I'm joking. Plug him in there. I don't know. You're the expert on that shit.
I'm going to use an old tackle box.
Yeah, the tackle box, or you can get one of those. Harbor Freight sells those Apache. They're
Pelican cases.
Just like Pelican cases, but they're a lot cheaper. But they're all.
Thanks, man. You're right.
You're right. Thank you.
Well, but you can get those Pelican case, or they're called Apache if you get them at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, they're not expensive.
I got the that big one that I got over there. I paid like $40 for it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That one?
No, the one on the other side. I got all the
And
GoPro
can't
stuff.
you get the dividers in there too, Robbie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got the foam, or you can
Yeah.
you can get the little plastic dividers that they sell for those
Hmm.
little screw toolbox that holds all the screws and stuff. You can get those, and you can set those in there. Just something like that is good that you can put stuff in where it's not just going to be, I guess, sloshing around is not exactly the best term, but it's not going to be mixing together where you can go and get directly into whichever thing you need to get. Tape measure, gloves, Ziploc bags, markers. What else, DA?
This could be something good to put on your Patreon, DA. An investigation loadout with like.
Yeah.
So Robbie, maybe think about this. Write all that down and send it to DA so we can put that on Patreon or something.
And another good thing is to have something, even if it's just like a cheapy tape measure,
Yeah.
something for scale. If you find a track, if you don't have anything for scale, put something of a known size, like a cigarette lighter or a pocket knife, something that you can measure and compare to the image.
Yeah.
And also remember, if you're using a GoPro or a digital camera or even your cell phone, digital images are free. Take as many as you possibly can. Especially with footprints or with anything, and really, but especially with footprints, take them from multiple angles.
That's right. Don't do what we did. Me and Robbie, don't do what we did. No. Just go out there being gun strapped and GoPros, and we didn't do shit. We got back in the truck and drove away. Yeah.
I wouldn't drive.
I didn't think of it, to be honest with you. I really didn't.
Something else you're talking about, DA. How about like some Scotch tape or something to collect fiber samples, something like that.
That's a good one.
Scotch tape, or some sort of transparent tape, Ziploc bags, nitrile gloves.
Backing tape.
Yeah.
Backing tape.
Definitely want gloves, and change the gloves often.
Yeah, because you don't have any.
Like between samples. If you're taking two samples, even if it's samples of the same thing, you don't want to cross-contaminate the samples.
Yeah, and Brock Blades has a good one. He said dollar bill works good for scale as well. I was thinking about that. So dollar bill, or credit card, something like that.
Or a quarter.
Pocket knife, something that you can measure and have the exact numbers of.
Oh,
little Patty says Q-tips. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, and to carry a buttload of like Ziploc sandwich bags. That way you can get some bigger sizes. So if you got something bigger, you can drop it down in there, seal it up. Sharpies to write stuff on.
Several Sharpies.
The date you got it, where it was, things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
some plaster of Paris and a bottle of water so you can mix your master plaster.
Yeah, Matt said envelopes too is the best collectible. Yeah, the envelopes they use a lot too.
Yeah, and maybe even a GPS, so you can write down your coordinates where you were whenever you found.
You want to document as much information about the location as you can. Like Doc says, if you can document the actual GPS coordinates, that's great. But write your report just like you would, like we did for law enforcement: who, what, where, when, how, and why. Answer every question as you possibly can. You want time of day, weather conditions, phase of the moon. If you can record it, record as much information as you can, because every little detail does help.
Nana Boss, Marty had a good one. She said, you want to preserve hair in paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if it's got any moisture to it at all, it'll mold inside of plastic.
Paper will not allow it to sweat.
Good to know.
When you put it in plastic, it can.
So maybe some small paper envelopes.
Yeah, like those little lunch bags.
Yeah.
Big K was wanting to know where to send evidence. Well, there's the tricky part. There are some places that I would trust to send it, and others that I wouldn't.
Well, we have a place. We have somebody we could send it to.
We do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Right. You would have to send it to us, and then we could send it off to somebody.
Yeah,
else.
if you want to reach out, we can help point you in the right direction to some places and where to put it. But I would be cautious about who you send it to, because 9 times out of 10, you send it to the wrong person, you'll never see it again.
And the source that we use is very, very, very credible. I mean, so I would trust them with it. No problem.
Pastor Pollux wants to know, Robbie, if you got a big enough set of handcuffs if you run into one.
Oh, I got a set of leg irons.
Logging chain.
With you?
Not with me, but I do have a set of leg irons.
Sounds like, okay. I'm like, all right, fuck, you got leg irons with you.
No, never mind.
Send it to a local military base or FBI agent, and they're like, yeah, that's what'll happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
local military base knows exactly how to lose it. I mean, how to process it.
File 13.
You're like, what sample? We didn't get no sample from you.
Henry White Jr. says, don't some of the colleges do this kind of work? Some do. You can reach out to a lot of colleges, especially if you can reach out to somebody, a university that's got a anthropology or primatology department. Sometimes they will help. Non-boss says always have medical gloves. Yeah, you want to have a good quality glove on hand, and you want to change them often. Depending on how big the evidence you think you're going to end up collecting, if it's particularly large, we're going to be working on that. We're going to work on doing a comprehensive list. Probably start out on the blog and move it from there. But yeah, I think Robbie was taking notes.
Okay.
But depending on the size of the evidence you're going to collect, you want more than one size bag. You can go from those little snack bags to sandwich bags to the freezer bags. And if it's bigger than that, best thing you can probably do is wrap it like in a trash bag or in plastic and seal it up. If you've got something too big to fit in a gallon trash bag, I wouldn't be wrapping a stick from a stick formation or a boulder. But if you've got something that big, you probably are going to want to get it on ice, because it's probably a piece of remains.
Yeah. Something else I was just thinking about too, DA, is like a surveyor tape.
Mm-hmm.
Tear pieces of that off and tie around things to maybe mark a trail or to mark something that you might see up in a tree or something like that. I don't know.
You also, if you've got multiple pieces of evidence on the ground, even if you've got to like tear off little pieces of notebook paper and put 1, 2, 3, 4 on them, mark each individual evidence, and when you photograph it, keep that that number in the image, so you know not only which piece of evidence it was, but which location it was. And you'll want to log all of this too, even if it's just on a piece of notebook paper. You write piece number 1. Evidence piece number 1, write down what it is, how you collected it, where you collected it, and reference the pictures. And keep those pictures in a separate file for each investigation.
Another thing you can do with that, DA, to go a little bit further with what you said, you can go to like Lowe's and Home Depot, and those little bitty wire flags that's got the nylon orange flag material on them.
Little surveyor flags.
Yeah, little surveyor flags that they use for like marking underground stuff, where they'll spray and then mark a flag in it. You get that, take a Sharpie and write 1 through whatever.
Absolutely.
And like if you're like you find a trackway, you can go to the first track and you can label out your tracks. Then you can go back and take a big wide angle photo, and that would show you how far apart the tracks were.
Man, you so smart. I was thinking the same exact thing.
Outcast Matt says a must for anyone with a smartphone is a 3D scanner. I need to look into getting one of those. Cheaper and lighter than plaster of Paris. There's just something to be said about having the actual physical plaster cast. Now, granted, if you get a good high-res 3D scan, you can probably 3D print one, but to me, it's just not quite the same. I'm the old school, got to have something physical in my hand kind of guy.
I like to touch it.
That's right.
I'm tactile.
Pork and Bean says there's a world-renowned fingerprint cop that's retired and lives in Conroe, Texas. That was on a Bigfoot show that handled fingerprints from an unknown primate, Jimmy Chilcott or something like that. Yeah, I've seen the documentary with him on it. He'd be a good one if you've got fingerprint evidence. Definitely to reach out to.
I need to look him up. I'll teach you Conroe this summer.
Yeah, found it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I need to look that dude up.
But he also did a lot of work. Didn't he? Did a lot of work for the FBI.
Yeah, he's actually credited through the U.S. Supreme Court as a expert witness on fingerprints.
And Robbie's right. He's the one that actually did determine the dermal ridges on the Bigfoot hands.
Oh, okay. I remember us talking
That
about
did
it.
that.
Orwell says, Doc, you're going to Conroe?
Yeah, going to Conroe. I can tell you just about 10 seconds. 15, 16 July, I'll be in Conroe teaching a class down there.
Oh, you're up with me?
Yeah, sure.
No,
Um,
phone's gonna die.
There are any number of things you can add to a kit, and we'll kind of talk about them a piece at a time here. But you can go to Walmart and like health and beauty, and you can get cheap sets of like plastic tweezers. Pick up 4 or 5 sets of those and keep them in your bag. Because if it's a hair sample, you don't want to touch it with your bare skin. The less you touch it, the better. Keep, like Doc was saying, keep some Sharpies on hand to label the bags, which piece of evidence it is, what number it is, what date and time collected. And if you're planning on keeping it long term, seal the bag with tape. So somebody doesn't gonna, what is this? Open it up and spill it out. And anytime you open that evidence, you'll be compromising it.
Didn't Doug Highcheck also say about the new thing, the oils on it?
The oils and the prints, yes.
yeah.
Now for the DNA, that they have a new technology for that, or no?
Mhm.
So,
Oh, this is cool. Pork and Bean says, well, Doc, the Sam Houston National Forest is right up the road from Conroe. It's really active, I have heard.
Nice.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Could be a date.
Nona Boss says have a good chain of custody. Absolutely. Document who collected it and who's touched it. And if you're gonna, if you've got a storage cabinet or a filing cabinet, you can keep that secure. Label each file, which investigation it was, date and time, that kind of thing. But the more you keep these separated, and you can do individual folders on your computer that have the name of the investigation or location of the investigation and the date, and you can put all relevant pictures and notes in that file and keep those organized so you can quickly go to those and say, okay, it was on this date we did this. These are the images from that, and just be careful. A lot of that stuff you can corrupt a file pretty easily. So what I would do is I would make copies and keep some stored off of your computer. Get a good size like external hard drive or a thumb drive, and copy everything to that. And every time you have something new and you save it to your hard drive, add a copy to that additional file. That way, if for some reason your computer becomes corrupted or it crashes, you've still got your backup of your information.
Yeah, those external hard drives have come way down. They're nowhere near as expensive as they used to be. You can get a 1 or 2 terabyte external hard drive now for like $50. When those things used to be like $350, but you can get one of those
backup to the backup to the backup, have multiple redundancies, y'all. And if you can afford it, I'll say this: if you can afford it, get a solid state hard drive. They're a lot more expensive, but they are less likely to brick on you because there's no mechanical moving parts in there. So a lot more expensive, but they're uber reliable.
I back all my really important stuff up on thumb drives and put them in the safe.
Yeah, same. I've got all kinds of stuff on thumb drives strategically located.
And again, you can consider this part of your evidence collection kit, but it's definitely should be part of your kit. And have a medical kit, preferably a Dark Angel medical kit. But if you're going to be out in the field collecting stuff like this, you run the risk of getting yourself hurt. Yeah. So definitely take a med kit.
Pro show. DA, I'll be
Meg Milson's fire stick.
Your footsteps.
I'm not sure what the fire stick is. I think that's just the Amazon viewing thing.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, dude. I hear some footsteps on my front porch. I'll be right back.
All right.
But we were talking about the envelopes and things like that. You can go to the dollar store and go to that little section, the craft section, or the little stationery section that they got, and you can get all kinds of those little mailing envelopes. You can get those, and you get them, the ones like they got at the post office that's got the patent on the inside of it.
Yeah.
really protect something really well. Put stuff, any of that kind of stuff in. We said the packing tape, you can pick that up at the dollar store too. So you don't have to spend, go to Cerci or
Yeah.
Second Chance or any of that stuff and spend a ton of money. You can build a kit.
Everything good, Doc?
Yeah, freaking UPS dude's dropping off stuff at 7:30. Usually nobody's here, and they usually don't come inside the gate, but he came inside the gate. So,
Oh, sorry, Robbie. Go ahead. I was a little concerned on Doc there.
thanks,
Yeah,
man.
I just say you don't have to spend thousands of dollars putting a kit together. I mean, you can if you want to go out and get all the most high dollar stuff you want to get, but if you just want to put a kit together, you can go and you can go to Harbor Freight and get, probably 80% of what you need for tool wise and pay next to nothing because
You can get a whole lot of it at the dollar store.
dollar store.
It doesn't have to be high quality.
Well, just about because you can get the gloves at Harbor Freight, you can get the envelopes at the dollar store, you can get the tape at the dollar store, you can get all the little. They even sell those little at Harbor Freight. I just saw it the other day, and I almost grabbed it for today, but they got the kit. It's got the little hemostat. Is that what you call the little scissors that lock together? They got a kit that's got one of those, and it's got the little magnifying glass and all that stuff that like working with solder and stuff like that. But I was thinking,
Yeah, basically think about. Did Robbie freeze up?
Looks like you might have.
Yeah. Basically think about what
that would be something.
Folks use for tying flies. Little small stuff like that. Yeah, and folks don't know.
I need to be safe when you go out, brother.
These are hemostats.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's exactly what they've got in those little kits. I mean, it's, like I said, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to put a kit together.
No, you can get a hemostat set off of Amazon for like $8. I use
Brock
these
Blade says
small parts.
Brock Blade says if you're friendly with a police officer, he might give you some fingerprint dust for those occasions. You have to take prints from glass. That stuff is not like a controlled substance. You can go to galls.com and buy evidence collections tabs. You can buy fingerprint dusting kits. And they're a little pricey. I mean, yeah, but if you're going on an actual working kit, but you can get by with like using the same little powder kits that women powder their face with. Those will work in a pinch. They're not ideal, but they will work in a pinch.
Thank
really,
you,
the only thing with lifting a print off of glass, all you need is something that's going to contrast that print on the glass, and then put the piece of tape on it to pull it off. It doesn't have to be that black fingerprint powder that they use. You can actually use baby powder and get was it graphite? I think mix in with it a little bit so it'll color it, and you can dust prints with that a mix of that, and you're gonna pay near what you're gonna pay for actual fingerprint dust.
Yeah, like those little hemostats he's talking about. The tweezers, you can get those at Walmart. They're dirt cheap. Just keep several pairs of those on hand. And somebody mentioned having some alcohol wipes on hand to wipe them down between uses. That's probably not a bad idea. Nona says she's not giving up her makeup kit, guys.
Alcohol stuff. I was thinking about that earlier too. I didn't know. Yeah, just make sure it evaporates real good before you touch something because you can denature stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of organic stuff with it. So,
we talked about having some sort of tape measure. That's always a great one to have, even if it's just something for scale. A ruler works. Heck, you can in a pinch you can even use a quarter. Dollar bills, anything that's got a known scale, but you always, whenever you take pictures of something, you always want something in the image for scale. You can take the clearest picture of a footprint in the world, but if you don't have anything to tell you exactly how big it is, it's kind of anybody's guess. You can say, yeah, it was bigger than my footprint, but the thing about it is that at that point it becomes one of those he said, she said kind of things.
Mhm.
Oh, he said it was this big, but we've got nothing for reference. When you throw a dollar bill next to a footprint and it's 3 times the length of the dollar bill, I don't care who you are, unless you got Shaquille O'Neal running around your woods. Yeah, you've got something with a rather sizable foot.
Now, something else too, DA. Somebody had said something earlier about carrying toilet paper or tissues if you have any kind of blood samples. Something else you can do is carry like a little eyedropper.
Mhm.
You know, those eyedroppers. If you need if there's anything in fluid form that you want to transfer to that paper,
Right.
whatever you do.
Well, you can even like those little. You can get the airbrushing things. You can in the hobby section in like Walmart. You can get those little plastic pipettes or eyedroppers, or whatever. You can get packs of them, just like packs and packs of them. That you can get those, and then you can like take if you get whatever fluid in there you want to get in it, and then you can take a lighter and melt the top of that and seal it, and then put that away, and then that's sealed in a plastic container.
Yeah, that's something else. That's 2 other things you could think about. You could consider carrying in your kit too, is just a pair of all-purpose shears and like a little cigarette lighter, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the point we're trying to make is, there's ways that you can go and fill out a kit without having to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
You just got to be a little creative.
Pipettes are cheap. Absolutely.
And if you are going to make a cast of something, number one, make sure that the subject matter that you're going to try to put the cast in will hold the cast. If it's really soft soil or sand, you might just destroy the print trying to cast it. Some people say, like if it's like in dust or sand, that they'll spray it gently with hairspray to kind of make it solid, and that does work to an extent. And some materials are just going to be very difficult to cast in.
That's another. Since you said that, DA, that's another thing you can put in your kit is cling wrap. Because if it's a real wet, muddy print, you put cling wrap down in it, and then pour the plaster down inside that. And it keeps it. And another little trick, if you're pouring prints, after you pour it and let it set up for just a little bit where it's tacky enough, take a stick and push down inside the plaster as it's drying, then let it dry, and then you've got a handle to be able to pull it out, and you won't have to worry about trying to dig the print out and mess things
So
up.
depending on the size of the track, you may want to put several sticks lengthwise in the track and like push them down into the plaster, because that'll give it a little more rigidity when you go to pick it up. You got to be really careful when you pick those casts up, because if you don't let them dry enough, they'll just crumble. You've got to let that plaster of Paris have time to set up. If it says, if it calls for on the box to give it an hour, give it an hour and a half. Do your best to keep the elements off of it as much as you can. They do make newer, more modern casting materials that dry faster, and they dry a little better than plaster of Paris. But it's hard to beat old plaster of Paris because it's cheap.
Well, something else too on those sticks. If you're going to be putting sticks down in there, cut you a little notch in each stick and have you something like some safety wire, baling wire, something like that, and wrap around each stick. So as you pull out, the cast comes out uniformly. So you're not putting pressure on one end or the other, because you could crack it. So that way everything just comes out. It's almost like putting when you're making smash burgers on a griddle or something.
Yep.
Got a handle.
And another thing to touch on the point DA was talking about protecting it from the elements. A cheap way to do that, you can go to Walmart or Dollar Store or any of those places like that, and you can get those little ponchos for like 99 cents a piece. And if you're out there and it starts raining, you can fold that poncho out and use that to cover the track up, and then that's going to keep the plaster dry from the rain while it's drying, and you don't have to worry about that. That's a cheap, easy fix for something like that.
Ryan, that's a good point. Liquid latex. I've never worked with it, But that I hear that is a really good one to use. Northwood says a metal coat hanger would work better than sticks. Robert D says, how about just dig out the prints and you have it? Good luck with that. I don't know how you're going to be able to dig out an entire footprint without breaking it. Even digging down deep around it, then prying up under it, you run the chance of destroying that trying to pry it up out of the ground, especially if there's a lot of roots in that ground. You're probably going to destroy the track before you get it out. I would be surprised if you could get it out intact.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest trying to do that because you might luck out and get 1 out of 30 that you can get out intact.
Steve Lamb says laser mark your footprint locations and track lines, or at least GPS each. That's a good thing to do, especially if you keep track of your stuff on a Google map. Then you'll always have a location on your phone or ready access where you can look these up.
Asking about your man.
And Steve knows what he's talking about. So whatever he says about evidence collection, listen to him. Just trust me.
Steve Lamb says plaster goes into water, not water into plaster. Mix correct, and it works better. That's true. If you take your plaster of Paris, measure out how much you think is going to need for that track, and pour that plaster of Paris into a gallon freezer Ziploc bag. Then pour your water into that bag, zip it up, and then work that plaster until it becomes completely the liquid, the thickness that you want. Once you've got it to the desired thickness and it's still in that bag, tip it on its side, cut the very corner off of it like you're glazing cupcakes, and just slowly squeeze that into the track. Because if it goes in quick, you're going to destroy details.
No, hey man, we just got recognized in the lobby over here at the hotel.
No kidding?
Yeah, I was just downstairs and I went to go put my phone in the truck to charge it, and I had a cigarette, and I'm walking back in. They go, Anthony. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. You and Mark, DA and Doc and Steve, and I'm like, they're here for the convention. They're staying.
That's awesome.
You're a damn celebrity.
Yep.
So, didn't even know it.
That is freaking cool, man.
It's the meatball. It wasn't me. I stayed right here.
He stayed. I went down, but he mentioned everybody.
They don't recognize you without your hat, Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's that guy?
Look like 2 pair of nuts. Look at that.
We've got that's a good list going, man. And like everybody's been saying, you don't have to break the bank on doing that. Honestly, probably the most expensive thing you would get would probably be the case.
I don't know. You can find old tackle boxes at yard sales all the time for $5-6.
That's true. I meant one of them Harbor Freight cases. How much?
Oh yeah. Well, even in there, they're not that high.
Still in your hat, she said. She's gonna take your hat.
Robert D says they should have called you Crayon. You'd have known who it was then.
I'm gonna open my door. There's gonna be 15 boxes of crayons sitting outside my door.
Care package. Watch.
There we go.
Crayola.
I think that's awesome. You got recognized in the lobby. That's cool as hell, man.
Oh. Yeah, young guys, probably in their 30s.
Should have told them we were live right now.
Kind of shocked me. I was like, I don't know these people. Didn't click until he said it. All right, home.
Let's see, what else is
Well, we got a good list going.
Let's see.
Those, and this is another thing that you can get at Harbor Freight. Those little things that you use to get, like when you drop a screw down inside the engine, push on it. It's got those little
rammers,
that comes out. That's something good if you got something that's a little bit too far away and you can't get, like, you see something in the creek that you want to try to pick up, whatever. They come on that big flexible shaft. You can put that in there. That's pretty. Maybe like what, $3-4 maybe.
Mm-hmm. if it's a particularly big piece of evidence, if you're going to be photographing it, probably what I would recommend doing is I would shoot multiple angles, multiple directions, in multiple positions, like above, from the side, from both front and back. Like I said, digital images are free, and then when you've taken what you believe is every angle, every good picture, then do a walk around of it with video and record what you're seeing.
What the hell is he doing home? I guess John's home from playing cards, I guess. That was early. Wow.
Hey, John.
John,
Uncle John.
he was playing cards tonight. I didn't know he got home that early. Wow.
Fine, this guy says Oklahoma's having tornadoes tonight. Well, I hope y'all are safe. We're supposed to have another storm front coming through our area.
Yeah, I think we're getting it right now. Temperatures done dropped down to 33 degrees, and it's windy, and the humidity's up. So, yeah, we're gonna get a storm.
Shit.
Folks, if you're going to be, Anthony and Robbie will tell you this, they're going to be out in the Ocala National. If you're going to be anywhere out in the woods, or even out in the desert, it doesn't really matter. If you're going to be anywhere out there doing any kind of collecting of evidence, primary care for yourself as well.
Dude.
Bug spray.
Not last night.
Dude, an environmental injury will get you so quick.
Hydrate like crazy.
Hydrate like crazy. Hydrate the night before you go out. Fluid load, and make sure you layer up. And like, this is a dry wicking type base layer material here. Wear that kind of stuff. Wear dry wicking stuff, performance type material, because cotton kills. You need something that's going to wick away sweat from your body and maintain your body heat. If you got wool, that's good, because even if wool gets wet, it still retains its insulative properties. Get you some good blankets. There's a company called, I know the dudes are great dudes. They're here in Colorado Springs. It's called Solkoa, Solkoa. And they make some awesome survival kits. They've got a little blanket. This is their large version. It's a green and silver survival blanket. Is polyethylene backed. It's a large, it's like 10, 11 bucks, but it's 5 mils thick. So it has some ass to it. So great stuff to have, y'all, for sure.
That's something we should probably include with this. It's not just your evidence collection, but your basic survival kit as well, because those two should really go hand in hand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you're going out with one, you should have the other at least close to hand.
You know, you want fire, water, food, and shelter. That's going to be your four cornerstones of survival. Like when we went to survival school, they were harping on that. So have some way to make fire, have some way to signal for help, have water purification, because if you run out,
a couple of life straws,
some purification tablets, collapsible 1 liter water bottles, compass. Some way to make a shelter half, some way to keep yourself from getting hypothermic.
Yeah, you know? Worst case scenario, a cheap poncho or a cheap tarp makes a really good tent. Make sure you've got something to use. I try to keep I've got a coil of about 200 yards worth of 550 cord rolled up and stuck in my bag. That stuff is, oh my God! You can use it for everything from setting snares to building your shelter.
Okay, good
Robert
question.
says gun and a knife. Don't leave home without them. Better than American Express.
Best spray to protect from ticks. Honestly, it's horrific stuff, but it's permethrin.
I used to just grab a thing of DEET from the Army surplus.
It's basically the same crap as DEET. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's when I went to my tracking school. That was the thing that they told us to get, was what you did. Ticks and stuff like that off of us.
Spray your boots and your legs. They won't coil up.
And get your waistband too.
Yeah,
thanks, Steve. I appreciate it, man. Steve said, I like this doc guy. Survival Ideas is a great idea.
We kind of like him too, Steve.
Louis Noriega about Mylar blankets. This is a Mylar blanket. It's from Solkoa, Solkoa. It's a polyethylene backed 5 mil thick Mylar blanket, and it is the bee's knees, man.
Versus the Whoopee is the perfect thing. Yeah, I've got one that I keep in my go bag. You, do what?
I said whoobies.
Whoopies.
Got to have your Whoopee.
Whoopies are amazing, man.
You know, the funny thing is, I mentioned the Whoopies in the last Codename Wild Hunt Death and Die Outlaw.
Yeah,
I
you
mentioned the Whoopies. I mentioned the Whoopies in that. I was looking at my books, like checking the rankings on Amazon, and I happened to click on that book, and it said, "If you've bought this, you might also be interested." And it listed a Whoopee for sale.
That's awesome.
I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Robert D. That guy's Doc the Hobbit. Damn right. I'm the tactical Hobbit. Okay.
Tactical Smurf. Another good thing that I got, and it's damn handy, is I bought one of those rechargeable lighters. It has the electric arc light on it.
Yeah.
Those things will light even under wet conditions, and you just plug it into your cigarette lighter. I think I got it off of Amazon for like $5.
Henry White Jr. has a great suggestion too for your other survival stuff. If you got any kind of electronic devices, one that uses solar, and that way you don't lose the phone. And also, if you have any other electronic stuff there, you can just plug in via a USB port, and you can use solar. I picked one up on Amazon for like $50, but it's like a huge, I can't remember, 3,400 milliamp or whatever pack, and it's solid. It's about the size of a little brick, weighs about 1.5 pounds.
This off of Amazon. I want to say I paid $10 for it. It's got an emergency flashlight on it. It's got an emergency radio. It's got a lithium ion light on it. I just turned it on. There we go. It's fairly bright light. It has a flip-up solar recharger and reading light on it. It can be hand cranked in an emergency. You can fold up this little hand crank, and it will charge your cell phone. It'll charge any of your electronic devices, and even works as an emergency radio, both AM and FM. And you could put batteries in it just as a backup to that. I mean, it'll have a couple of AAs that'll run for quite a while, and then you can hand crank and run on it. And this thing was dirt cheap, and it has 1,000,001 functions.
Yeah.
I want to say I paid $10 for it.
You sent me that link, DA, and I've got a couple of them for gifts for everybody last Christmas.
That's a damn handy little thing. Oh, and it even does the.
Now, I mean, something else.
It'll do an SOS. I didn't realize it was that loud. Sorry about that.
Like a whistle, a signal mirror, a ferro rod. As far as fire starting material, cheapest way you can do it, get you a pill bottle and a bunch of cotton balls with Vaseline on them.
Cotton balls and Vaseline. Also, and I know this is going to break Anthony's heart to hear this, but you can use crayons. You can set them on fire, and they will burn for quite a while.
Not only are they a food source, they're fire starters.
That's all it is. Crayons or wax.
This is not one of Doc's kit. This is something that my kids got me. They got this on Amazon, and they paid $30 for this. $30, and like I said, it's not the greatest stuff in the world, but if you just want something that's just gonna, there's a knife in it. There's one of these little ferro rods like Doc was talking about, the fire starter rods. Flashlight. There's a small medical kit. It's got one of those little talking about the paracord DA. It's got one of those. It's got the compass. It's got another rod, fire striker rod on there. You can take the bracelet apart for the compass. It's got a little small mini e-tool in it. It's got one of those little things where you clip your drink bottle on it and you put it on your.
I usually wear one of these when I'm out in the field.
Yeah,
this is a survival bracelet. It's got a blue line in it. If you look real close, it's got the logo from my old sheriff's department in it. One of the guys I worked with used to make these all the time.
John said, "Don't forget your safety glasses." 100%, man. 100%. And Steve Lamb, this is something I teach in my classes. It says a poncho and a candle will keep you alive. That was one of the things they told us for survival school was carry you a Mylar blanket, a candle, and a big lighter.
Wow.
rubber band that crap together, throw it in a Ziploc or waterproof bag, and you've got an emergency survival shelter right there. Just make sure you vent it so you don't carbon monoxide the crap out of yourself. That would suck.
Dryer lint. Kevin Bode says save dryer lint. I've used dryer lint many times.
I had a big mason jar.
If you've got a like a bag you throw in the back of your vehicle, those little starter logs, the little square ones you can buy for starting fires in your fireplace, those work great at camp.
Yeah,
those are awesome.
And Brock Blades, he said, not just safety glasses, but if you're old as Doc, you need reading glasses too. Hey, dude.
Hey, don't knock those reading glasses. In a pinch, you can use the magnifying lens off that lens to start fire.
There you go. I mean, there's all kinds of cool things. I mean, if you're out there, like DA said, if you're out there collecting evidence, you still got to be able to take care of yourself. And if you're not combat effective, then what good are you?
Yeah, no evidence in the world is worth you not coming home.
Amen. And a strong suggestion: use this stuff, try it out, learn how it works before you have to use it.
Exactly. You never want to try to figure out how something works when life or death is on the line.
That's right. Yeah, like duct tape, gorilla tape. Mr. Lamb had something about that. I wrap about 12 feet of gorilla tape around a hotel room key card. The ones you never turn back in. You can wrap that thing up around it, like 12 feet of it, and it fits in a nice small little spot.
I bought one of these at Bass Pro. Well, actually, I've got several of them, but it's just this little innocuous looking container. It seals. You unscrew it, and you what you do is you fill it with matches. It has a striker built into the side. Well, it's built into the bottom, and I just keep wooden matches in it.
Amen.
I've had these thrown in various places. I have 2 or 3 of them. One in different packs. One in the glove box of the car.
You will never miss it unless you don't have it.
Exactly.
You want to stay warm. You want to stay dry. You want to stay hydrated. You want to stay fed.
The rule of 3.
That's true. Steel wool is good.
Yeah.
Steel wool does work.
Steel wool and a 9-volt battery will start a fire in a heartbeat.
I was about to say,
Yes, it will.
Battery steel wool, you're gonna have a fire.
Yep.
Yeah. You can even do it with a AA battery and a aluminum foil gum wrapper.
Gum wrapper, or so cigarette pack, anything that has aluminum foil on it.
Yep.
A good machete and a good camp knife and a good hatchet, worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, and I know we talk about the Scallywag. Scallywag's got a lot of great knives like that too. Another brand of a great bushcraft knife is the Mora knife, Mora. I think they're out of Sweden. Very inexpensive and sharp. I mean, if you look at that sucker wrong, it's going to cut the hell out of you. So,
a good multi-tool is something else. You definitely want to keep in your pack.
Good Leatherman.
Yeah. I've got this one I've had. Hell, I think I've had this since I was in the Army.
I got one. Pack.
It's a Gerber multi-tool.
Yeah.
It even has a little ruler on the side of it. And these things are worth their weight in gold, literally.
Yep.
I have one of these multi-tools. I think the others are Leatherman. I have them zip tied to my pack straps. And then I've got others that I just keep on my duty. I kept one on my duty belt.
And Brock Blades has a good one here. He said, Hill People Gear kit bag carries a basic kit with a more extensive kit in my backpack. I know the Hill brothers. I taught a class out their place in Grand Junction, and they work very exclusively with Solcoa. So that's probably where they get their kit, their survival kit stuff. Yeah, but if you look at Hill People Gear, and they have some good survival stuff for if you're out busting the brush.
Mm-hmm. Doc, if you happen to have the website information on either of those, you could put those in the chat. I'll share them.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, you can just share them directly to chat. Just post them in the chat.
Okay. Let me go to Solcoa first. I'll put the Solcoa link up first.
Okay.
And then
Uncle John says you don't say buck knife in a scallywag area. This is scallywag country. Although I do have 2 or 3 old buck knives. I've got this one. I've had this, I think, since I was a teenager. My dad gave me this years and years ago, and this thing's still sharp as hell.
Yeah, I got one.
Remember those old buck knives, the old folders? It was like they call it the ultralight.
Mm-hmm.
OD green handle and a little camouflage case. My brothers gave me one.
What about the old timers?
Yeah, it was like I was like 14 and I've still got that sucker, and it is sharp as a intact.
I had an old timer knife, man. That thing was razor sharp for years.
Yeah.
Those are good knives. Miss Lene says, my scallywag orca gets worked hard. I actually had to sharpen it today. Didn't think it was possible, but I dulled my blade. Well, if you use a knife as a utility knife, eventually you are going to have to sharpen it. But the scallywags really do hold an edge like nobody's business. Hill people gear.
All right, folks, y'all look in the chat, and I put the links up. It's under the DAX Machina podcast, Solcoa, and Hill People Gear. That's the ones that we were just talking about for some good basic survival kits. If you don't want to put one together, they have pre-made ones at a fairly affordable price.
And you don't have to break the bank on stuff. I mean, we talk about scallywag all the time, and some of their knives are a little pricey. Like if you want to get a gunner's mate, you're gonna spend a little money on it. But it's one of those knives that it'll last you a lifetime. I mean, it's not like you're buying a $10 buck knife, a $10 sheath knife from Walmart that the first time you're doing something with it, you snap the tip off of it. These are high quality knives that'll last you a long time. But if you want a knife that's good quality that you can keep in a go bag or keep in a toolbox, you don't have to worry about breaking the bank on. Buck knives do make fairly reasonably priced good knives.
Yeah, you can put together a great little kit without breaking the bank, whether it's a survival kit. And if you can get something like DA is talking about, like a tackle box, maybe have 2 tackle boxes or something like Robbie was talking about, Harbor Freight. What's the name of those boxes?
It's Apache. It's just a knockoff of the
Pelican cases.
Yeah, you can layer those things up. You can layer those things up, and you can have your evidence collection in one layer, and you can have survival in another layer. So if you got to do it, you can get to it. It's all in the same.
Another good thing to keep on hand, and I've had one of these on my key ring since probably 1981 or 82, is a P38 can opener.
Yeah, I got one.
Yep.
Yeah, those things. Yeah. You ever find yourself want to get into a can and you don't have a can opener? Those little P38 can openers, man, they take up no space. And I've carried one for forever.
That's a quality item, Clark.
Hell yeah, it is.
Really nice.
Clark. Real nice.
Or 951. Yeah, the bigger one.
I think he meant a P51, which is the bigger brother.
Bigger
of the
one.
P38.
I've got a couple of the P51s, but I think I've given all my sons a P38.
Dude, those suckers will open up a number 10 can, man. A P51 will open up a number 10 can. Show enough. Quick.
I showed them to my boys. I showed it to my boys. They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a can opener." They're like, "That's not a can opener." I'm like, "Yes, it is." Like, how can you open a can with that? And I'm like,
you're looking at hieroglyphics,
Yeah.
Those things will pop up on Facebook periodically. A picture of them says, "If you know what this is, you had a good childhood."
Yeah.
Yeah. My boys were just completely incredulous. They're like, That's not a can opener. You can't open a can with that." I'm like, "Yes, you can."
I saw a picture one said, "If you know what this is, it's time for your colonoscopy." That's about the truth of it.
I told my doctor he's going to have to take me out to a nice dinner before he talks me into that.
Lord have mercy. I don't even want to talk about that. Oh, man. So we've got fire, water, food, shelter. Food, you can get some freeze-dried stuff, but you've got to have a way to hydrate it, and you got to have something to cook it in. These little canteen cups are great to cook stuff in. Seriously.
Yeah.
You can also
cooked many a times in those.
Yeah. The Snow Peak titanium stuff. If you're going to cook something, a single wall cup is generally better to cook something in than a double wall cup. So, and get you a little titanium sport to eat it with.
Speaking of titanium sporks, if you go to Scallywag and look in their swag and apparel, they have what they call the tactical spork. It's like $7 or $8.
There you go.
It fits on your keychain. You can cut stuff with it.
There
I
you go.
haven't gotten it yet, but as soon as I get a little bit of money, because we just had to send out a rather sizable suggested donation to Uncle Sam, and yeah, that's going to hurt for a little bit. So, but when I have a little bit of money, I'm going to get a couple of those tactical sports just to have on hand.
I mean, you can even get like those. You can even get like if you're not concerned about weight. The big thing here is we got to look at weight.
Yes,
because ounces equals pounds and pounds equal pain. So you don't want to have too much freaking weight. But you can get these survival ration bars, and I want to say there's these. It's called Grizzly Gear vanilla pound cake bars that are 3,600 calories per bar, and it's $16.95. It's a 3-day supply. So you can get those off of Amazon for $16.95.
You can gain like 30
And I've had them. I've had them just to see. And dude, like a half a bar, you're like, drink you some water and make sure you take your Metamucil too. That's all I got to say.
this is the tactical spork, the sporky spork.
Hell yeah! Look at that. It's got a can opener on it. It's got a bottle opener. It's got a little knife blade.
Yeah, they're on sale for $18. When I get some money ahead, I'm going to order 2 or 3 of them things.
Yeah, look at that.
Not Marty. Marty says Marty.
Not Marty.
Say good night to everyone. Got a long drive to Ocala so I can document some prints for Anthony and Robbie. The gauntlet has been thrown on the ground, gentlemen.
Yeah.
The hat stays on the head too.
Yeah.
The gauntlet has been thrown on the ground. Yes, something else I saw in that little tactical sport DA was one of those little carabiners. There's a company called Night Eyes, Niteize, that makes little inexpensive carabiners. Those things are great to hook all kinds of crap to.
I've got several of them at any given time. Yeah. I bought some off of. These are actually climbing ones, though. They'll lock in place. But I bought a whole bag of these, and I've got like 3 or 4 stuck to pretty much every pag I own.
Yeah, because
can't beat them, man.
To hang on your pack, the whole stuff, you don't have to worry about them being rated to climb. I mean,
yeah. I also I bought a whole bunch of these
the
Grimlock.
Yeah, the Grimlocks. I got a bunch of Grimlocks, and those things are freaking handy as hell.
Not Marty, drive safe.
Yeah.
Not Marty.
See you tomorrow.
Stuff.
I'm already.
And more me stuff, yeah.
Robert, I took care of my end. I had cameras and pew-pews.
What?
The Two Stooges let us down.
They're 2 of the 4 Musketeers.
Steve Lamless says Grail water filter is the way to go. Get water when you need it. Don't carry it. That's why I have. I've got 2 or 3, maybe even 4. I'd have to double check. But those life straws, those things, they'll filter out 100,000 gallons of water. You can stick the end right in a mud puddle and drink water straight out of it. They make ones that fit in the they actually go in the line on your Camelback. So you can fill your Camelback, hook the line in, and just drink straight out of the Camelback.
Got a couple of those for me and Angie for our Camelbacks, and
they're those things
fantastic. The water doesn't taste, and I've tried it with. I got a pond in my backyard, or down the hill from my house in my field, and I just went out there, and she said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna see how this thing works," and water didn't taste funky at all. It was, and I didn't.
And the great thing about those life straws is they are even rated for like small radioactive particulates. They will filter out certain radioactive particulates as well. Those life straws are awesome. 100,000 gallons can go through one of those.
Those things are worth their weight. I mean, they're worth every penny. And sometimes, like if y'all look on Black Friday, that's whenever me and you were talking about that last year, DA. They were down to like $10 a piece.
Yeah, you can find them on sale all the time for less than $20. Walmart's even got a couple of knockoff brands. They're not Life Straws. They're not as quite as good as the Life Straw brand. They're only rated for like 50,000 gallons of water, but you can get those for like $10 all the time.
And Kevin Bodie says, and I was thinking about this earlier, glow sticks. Get you some little light sticks. Little
People are like glow sticks. Sometimes you just want to snap them and shake them till the light comes on.
Yeah.
For $30 though, I mean,
it's packed.
Look how big that's $30 worth of survival gear in that pack right there. And it may not be top of the line, but if you just need something to throw in your backpack, $30 is not bad for some stuff in there. It's probably gonna save
There's a
your
lot
life.
of stuff in there too when you open it up. It ain't no joke.
Robert D says, "Are they one-time usage?" No, those Life Straws are good. You just basically put them in a Ziploc bag and hang on to them. They're rated for up to 100,000 gallons of water.
Yeah, once you drink out of it, after you get done drinking out of it, you got to blow.
Yeah, just blow the water back out of it.
Water and particulate out, and it's clear. It clears out, and it's ready to use again.
And it comes with a little lanyard. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word.
Louis Noriega's got a good point too. A lot of people use fishing vests. They were ones they call shooters vests. They're just basically it's an old photographer's vest with a bunch of pockets on them. Those are great for in the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little LBVs.
Yeah, because you got to think about, like I said, you got to think about weight. If you can throw that in a little small pack, like a little day pack or something, you can have all your crap there.
My basic camera pack is this one. It's just a little shoulder pouch.
That's what I have.
It's not huge. This is just, I've got my survival kit in the car, but if I got to jump out of the car and I want to document some stuff by taking pictures, this is my little grab bag.
Yeah, Vertex just sent this to me the other day. This is their SOC-P, the Special Operations Combatives Program fanny pack, and it's got all kinds of little hidden pockets and stuff like that in there. I mean, there's all kinds of pockets back here in the back. I mean, you could pack a lot of stuff in this little thing. So
another thing I keep 2 or 3 on hand, chamois.
Yep. And you'll appreciate this.
You can go
wrap it here.
The boonie.
There you go.
Yeah.
The old drive-on rag, man. This is just a little OD green cravat or triangular bandage. These things are great to have as well. I've had this one for about 35 years.
I use my chamois for all kinds of stuff that it's not intended for. I mean, I've used it as a pre-screen filter when filling a coffee pot with water. I've used it for pretty much even their intended uses when it's dusty out. I've used it to wrap stuff up and carry in. Chamois got 1,001 uses.
Yeah, and I'll say this too: if you've got like a Sweetwater or Katahdin or Aquapure water filter with like a pre-filter thing, you got to drop down in the water. Carry you some of those coffee filters that you'll use in your Mr. Coffee maker. Put that coffee filter over your pre-filter and have you some rubber bands, which is another good thing to have in your kit, is some rubber bands, and drop that in the water, and it'll help filter out silt so it doesn't clog your pre-filter up with silt. I did a 7-day backpacking trip up in the Wind River Range in Wyoming several years back, and I didn't pack any water in because I knew we had plenty of streams up there, and that's exactly what we did. Never got sick, never clogged my pre-filter, and everything was good to go.
All my veteran brothers and sisters out there, and we'll all tell you, make sure you got some extra socks and some Motrin.
Trench foot is no joke.
Foot powder.
Right.
You want to have some
Foot powder
because you're out there beating the bush and you get stuck. You got to take care of your feet. Okay.
If you've got the room in your pack and you can take a spare set of clothes, even if all you can take is socks, take a couple pair of socks. But if you can take a change of clothes, those are amazing. If you've done something and gotten yourself soaking wet.
Yeah, and make sure, and this is not trying to be weird, but I'm a doc, so got to make sure that foot powder or any kind of powder like Gold Bond or whatever, Powder up your nether region rather liberally, because
Chafing stuff.
you don't want to get chafed, because chafing can lead to a rash. Rash can lead to abrasions. Abrasions can lead to a skin infection, and all kinds of bad things can happen. You don't
want to get galled when you're walking around that woods.
get anything going on. Okay. Inky has a question here, DA, talking about if someone were to have DNA evidence of something, would it be wise to send to a lab? We'd addressed this earlier, but they might not have been in. Let's talk about it again.
One, I would probably, if you've got DNA evidence, I would make sure you collect multiple samples of that DNA. So if you find scat, don't just put all of it in one bag and send it to one lab. Break that down because to get DNA out of something, you don't need a pound of poop. You need a pebble. I would break that down into 4, 5, 6 different samples, seal it up, keep a couple of them on ice, maybe in your deep freeze so that you can keep them. But I would send them to multiple places. Some colleges will test them. Veterinarians are a great place to get stuff tested. They won't do it for free, but a veterinarian can test stuff, especially if they're just looking for a basic DNA match. Then there are other places. There's a few people I would trust in the community that I would send samples to. Just be cautious who you send it to. And I'm not gonna get up here and try to sound like a politician. Oh, you can always trust us. Choose wisely who you trust. If you do decide you trust us to want to send it to, we will do our best to get it in the right hands. But be careful about who you send your evidence to, because odds are good you're probably never going to see it again.
Steve, no, I don't own a survival school. I was in the military for a while and went through a lot of really cool specialized training. I teach medical courses, my man. So I do cover that. I do cover a lot of survival stuff in my environmental emergencies or environmental injuries lecture in my course. But just check us out over at Dark Angel Medical, and we'll talk about that a little bit.
You should change things up on your Dark Angel YouTube channel. You should start doing stuff like Demolition Ranch.
Yeah,
do a medical related portion and then a survival related portion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something to it, man, and I'm not uneducated on that stuff, and I've used it, so that's definitely a good idea, man. And my brother Keith just sent this to me. He's watching the show. He and my brother Carly are watching the show. They call it the 5 C's of survival. I don't know where he got it from. 5 C's of survival: cutting tool, combustion device, cover, container, and cordage. I like that.
I do like that.
Yeah. So
5 C's of survival go right along with the rule of 3.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Something else that's great for survival stuff? Big old 55-gallon trash bags, because you can do a lot of stuff with those, man.
Those leaf bags.
You can help. You can help waterproof your shelter. You can collect water in it and make a solar steel out of it. Well, not with the black ones, but with the clear ones, you can make a solar steel out of it, dude. All kinds of cool stuff with trash bags. And you could be singing
not Miss Lanita.
Not Miss Lanita. You can
sing. Another thing I don't think we mentioned it, the space blankets.
Yeah.
Of how only keep you warm.
And you can go on Amazon and buy space blankets dirt cheap. For like $5, you can get a pack with like 10 of them in it. They don't cost anything.
Yeah,
the good ones, like Doc was talking about, the thicker ones. I'm gonna look at getting a couple of those to put in my pack. But you can get those cheap ones that if something happens to it, you're not really that broken up about it.
Yeah. Well, you think about it with a survival blanket, you can line what you're laying on, because you lose heat to the ground through conduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can also line it inside your survival shelter to reflect your heat back. And if you got a fire going, bro, you're going to be going on a vision quest. I mean, it is. You can
turn a regular sleeping bag into an extreme cold weather sleeping bag pretty easy.
You're going to be a baked tater real quick. When we did that trick in winter survival, we did our winter survival up in Canada, in Alberta, and I'd been cold, but I'd never been Canadian Rockies cold, and they made us jump into the polar bear challenge crap, which was stupid, I thought. And then we had to get in a sleeping bag with each other, which was super awkward because guess who was Little Spoon?
A little guy.
Yeah, and then we wrapped those Mylar blankets around us and did the candle thing. Man, within 5 minutes, it was uncomfortably warm, and it's like 10 below outside. So it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. Just to understand that you got.
Also, if you'd have those cheaper Mylar bags and those Mylar blankets, and you're in a situation where you could be risking hypothermia of your feet. You could put fresh socks on, wrap them in a piece of that Mylar, cut it off, put it back in your boot. Not only is it a great insulator, but it traps that heat in.
Absolutely, man. I mean, there's so many tips and tricks out there. And DA, I think I am going to start adding some of that stuff to my curriculum.
I think it's a great idea, bud.
You know, because, I mean, trauma ain't, like I say, environmental injuries, preparedness is key. It's just like anything. You've got to prepare. And if you're not preparing, then you're failing.
You're absolutely right. Brock Blade says, I bet that wasn't the only thing uncomfortable. Nah, he just put on the 70s porn music and went with it.
Brother, let me tell you what. I was a scared little man. That's all I got to tell you. Oh, mercy.
If you're not preparing to fail, you're failing to prepare.
Exactly.
Well, Ben Franklin said it. You know, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And preparedness, I mean, whether it's trauma medicine like I do, you know, emergency medical kits, or your survival stuff, because environmental stuff, man, Mother Nature will stick it in you and break it off. They don't care. I mean, people die every year out here in Colorado, even in the summertime, going up in the mountains because they're not prepared, and they get caught by some freak storm that rolls in above timberline and drops temperatures below zero or below freezing, and they freeze to death in the middle of the summer.
You can also go out in the desert and see a 70-degree drop in temperature as soon as that sun goes down.
Even people that prepare get caught like that, because look at Julian Sands. That actor, we've talked about him before on our show. He was a very.
They still haven't found him, by the way.
No, they've already declared him dead.
Very experienced.
He's been missing since the middle of January.
Yeah, he was an experienced dude. He did like all these competitions.
Yeah, to me, that's still just weird that he completely vanished.
Like a fart.
Because he wouldn't have made the mistake of going, you know what, I can just cut cross country. He just stuck to the trail. He was an experienced hiker.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone. I mean, they hadn't found hide in her hair.
Open Coloring Book says, and practice with what you have. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, I have said that so many times.
Just like you were saying about that life straw and the fire starting gear. You don't want to try to take a crash course on how to learn how to use that when you need it.
Yeah, you've got to take that stuff out and practice with it. Learn how to use it. Get proficient with it. Just like medical gear. If you don't practice with it, I mean, what do you expect your results are going to be whenever the fecal matter hits a rotational oscillation device? You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. You gotta make sure. And Steve Bowen says, ironically, Bigfoot does absolutely no prep work when he wanders into our environment. That's true. That's true. He doesn't have to recce our stuff out.
Inky says, for me, if I had a live specimen, I'd come into contact of a group like you guys. Well, I appreciate that, man. If you've got a live specimen, be very careful, because that is going to be a dangerous thing to try to keep a hold on. I don't even know that I'd ever want to try to contain a live one. I dang sure don't want to try and kill one. I've said it many, many times. Only way I'm going to try to kill one of these things is if it's trying to kill me or somebody I'm with. But yeah, containing a live one, even a small one, would probably, a chimp will tear your arm off.
That's a big negative. That pattern's full.
Open Coloring Book says knots. Practice various knots in your cordage. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Hey, Brock, have a good night, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, good night, buddy. Good night, dude.
No, it's I mean, that's a terrifying thought. If there's ever a live specimen, I would want to be away so that I would not become an unalive specimen. It's and somebody they just said it right here. Sam Hain.
Sam Hain 11.
I hope not, but wouldn't it be ironic if Julian Sands ran into a dog man or some other cryptid?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah. Just if you're going out in the wilderness, man, be prepared for any eventuality. That's the best advice I can give you.
And one thing I've said it before, and I'll hammer this again. If you're going to go out somewhere, and this includes cryptid hunting, but if you're going to go out somewhere, camping, hunting, fishing, backpacking, if you're going to be off grid somewhere, make sure, for the love of God, let somebody know where you're going and when you're going to be back. Somebody not with you. Somebody in your family or a friend that knows where you're going and when you're supposed to return. That way you've got somebody on the outside that knows where to start looking if you don't report in. Because if you don't make a plan like that and you go out, you may never be found.
I mean, look what happened to that dude that had to cut his arm off.
Yeah. That dude that got wedged between the rock.
They didn't know where he was.
Right. He could have sat there until he died before somebody would have found him. Oh,
he would have. Absolutely, man. And it's one of those things where that's all part of your preparation. You need to have it's almost like being in the military and y'all being in law enforcement, you have your pre-mission brief and you got to know where you're going. What are your threats there? Not only potential cryptid sightings, but what are your environmental threats? Because if you're not prepared for the environment, man, the flora and the fauna will get you pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, Inky says, I've thought about exploring Bray Road. Well, one good thing about the Bray Road area is you're never going to be more than about a half mile from a house. Not anywhere on Bray Road will you be more than a half mile from a house.
But just think about, like Toons, when he has to go out and you talk about the flora and the fauna, everything in Australia wants to kill you and can kill you. You really have to.
Like 7 out of the 10 deadliest snakes on the planet are in Australia.
Yeah.
It's all made out of knives and wants to kill you.
Yeah.
Nope rope.
To not prepare yourself before you go on something like this, and not even this, just going out in general, just to go on a hike. I mean,
hey, fellas, you're
reports.
Let me bump out real quick. Y'all excuse me. I gotta tell my bride good night. She's in Mississippi. She's an hour ahead. I'll be right back.
Okay. Little Bear Running says, I just got in 10 minutes ago. Would always pack a raincoat and rain pants. Great wind block and holds in body heat, biofreeze muscle rub for your feet. You can buy back when I used to ride motorcycles all the time, you could go to basically any cycle store or even your outdoor store like Bass Pro, and you can buy an emergency poncho or an emergency raincoat and pants. They're not something you'd want to wear multiple times, but if you've ever need a set, you can get a set that just weighs next to nothing. You can keep in your pack, and they're cheap. You get a set like that to keep in your pack pretty easy.
And even if it's something like buying those little packs, those hot hands and hot feet, the little hand and foot warmers. I mean, stuff like that goes a long way. Like if you, when I worked in security and in law enforcement, I keep those little hand and foot warmers. I would buy when they'd go on sale at the end of the season. I'd buy a crap ton of them, and those were great when you had to walk somewhere, had to be outside directing traffic for hours. Oh yeah, well I had I can't remember what store it was, but I had a store that donated a bunch of those. When I was coaching soccer at the other school that I coached at, soccer season starts. It's still pretty cold, and I had them donate that. So my players, especially the ones that were sitting on the bench, they could have those and try to be able to keep themselves warm. So those things go a long way. If your feet get cold, you're miserable. If you keep your feet warm, you can keep going. But your feet start getting really cold, that's starting. Your body starts breaking down pretty quick.
Northwood says a personal locator beacon of some kind. Some of those are pretty pricey, but yeah. Well, heck, what did I shove the stupid thing? This little survival tool that I've got has got one of those beacons on there. You guys heard me set that off a minute ago. I mean, it's freaking loud. I did not expect it to be that loud, but you can get those fairly inexpensively. This has a carabiner, so you can attach it to a pack strap. But this is a great little rechargeable unit. Plus, it's got a radio in it. You can't communicate with it, but you can listen. Yeah, it's a little versatile tool. And like I said, these things are only, I want to say like $10, and it's got pretty bright flashlight on it. It's got a strobe beacon on it. Let me set it. I'll set the strobe beacon off. If I can remember how to turn it over.
Now the point is, while DA is figuring that, you're never going to have every single piece of survival equipment that you need, but at least get the main things that you need. The stuff to help you with your water, stuff to help you with your food, stuff to help you with your shelter, and the stuff to help you keeping yourself warm. Those are the main things. You got to have those. Now the rest of the stuff is nice, and you can start once you get those main things, you can start building off of that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have something.
Power bars.
Yeah.
You can throw 3 or 4 power bars in your pack, and you can live on those for a few days. You're going to be hungry as hell when you come out of the woods, but they're a lot better than not having anything at all. And those don't take up much room. But Robbie's absolutely right. You want to just concentrate on the absolute basics at first. You want to be able to stay dry. You want to be able to build fire. You want to be able to purify water. So a life straw, a couple of space blankets, and or a poncho, and basic fire starting equipment.
So if I was living where you and Toon lives, I would never wear flip flops. Like funnel web fire that can bite your freaking toe or through your toenail. I'd be wearing steel toed boots too.
That's true. Yeah.
Miss Lenny said, did anybody mention a compass? I think Doc did earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. I've got a couple of Linzatic compasses. And if you don't know what a Linzatic compass is, it's probably because it's kind of land nav is kind of a dying art. I don't even know if they teach it in the military anymore.
They still do.
They still do good. So being able to navigate by map and with a map and compass is a survival skill.
Something to think about. Something to think about is if you're going out where you're going, you got a GPS. That's cool. You need to learn how to read a topo map, topographical map.
Yeah.
So
and know what the colors mean.
Educate yourself on that. So
Henry White Jr. had a good point. If you have to take medication daily, if you're going to be out, someplace like this, keep 3 or 4 days worth of medication on you.
Yeah.
If you have to take your medication every day, you want to make sure you've got a few doses with you.
Extra blood pressure medicine, just in case.
Or 8674 says learn land navigation. There are courses that you can learn it. There are YouTube channels that'll teach you the basics. But land navigation is a great skill to know. I've got my old Boy Scout knife somewhere around here.
And learn dead reckoning too.
Dead reckoning is a.
Okay, see what this is? What this is?
Little stern. What is that?
That's a cup.
Collapsible water bottle.
Oh, that's
Hell yeah.
That's cool as hell.
And these tabs right here.
Purifiers.
There you go.
I never cared for. Remember the old water buffaloes and the big hanging water lister bags. They always put those iodine tabs in. The water tasted like absolute shit.
Well, they use bleach in ours, and if you're using bleach, sodium hypochlorite, it is 1 drop per liter. Okay. They overdosed our water buffalo with bleach one time.
Oof.
And we had to call the exercise. We were there with a bunch of guys at Bragg, and everybody, because it scorched our normal flora and our guts. So by day 2, everybody had the backdoor trots. So it was bad.
Shit the brains out. That's nice.
Another great thing, and I mentioned this in the last book that I released, my Dark Frontiers, that Declan Kane had one of these. Just a little basic fishing kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a hatchet, and you find yourself a good springy sapling. I got fishing gear right here.
I've seen
With
them
enough line to catch fish on. We're
Man.
catching feedback off something like
Here's those little
that.
pins that the Altoids come in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Amazon has got those this little
Yeah.
fishing kit that comes in those little tins that they're that big. You can throw them in your pocket, and they've got lures, they've got hooks. Some of them even have bait,
Yeah.
like catfish bait and things like that. They're like $10-15, and you could buy 5 or 6 of those and put them in every one of your go bags and the bags you keep in your car. Put them in
This
there.
this I want to say was like, I think it was like $2. It's got a coil of line in it. It's got 3 bobbers. I think it's got half a dozen little treble hooks, a couple of weights, and a couple of basic plastic worms. But even without the plastic worms, you could still just dig worms. I mean, this is survival fishing in a. You see how big it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
About an inch thick and about the size of a credit card.
I'm gonna plug another company I used to work for. This is Magpul Daka Pouch, DAKA. These Daka pouches, I've got a whole survival kit in here. These things are awesome. They come in many different sizes, and they're great to throw your stuff in. So, also, if you're going to be using a compass and a topographical map, get you a protractor. That's another key item. It's a little square piece of plastic with different grid markings and things like that. So learn about this stuff, man. If you're going to be going out,
Mine the other night, Doc, remember?
yeah, learn about this stuff. You can YouTube it. Go to YouTube University, I like to call it, and get educated on this stuff. So it's definitely good, something good to have. It's a good, like the DA said, it's a lost skill. It's a lost art.
Yeah.
Invest in a good pair of boots. Don't just buy the cheapest pair of hiking boots you can find. Your feet are your most valuable resource when you're off grid. Get a good, comfortable pair of boots. We're catching audio feedback from something.
It sounds, I don't know, something. I mean, let me mute my mic.
It's like somebody with a duck call. You guys still hear it? I still hear it.
Mm-mm.
Now I'll mute mine. Oops. I think it's coming from my mic.
Huh.
I don't know what's causing it.
I didn't hear it. Did you?
Mm-mm.
No.
Maybe it's just an artifact in my headphones.
I hear it. I hear it too.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Kind of like somebody in the distance with a duck call.
Yeah, I swear, it's they're like they're calling in them old green ones.
MR Duck.
I don't know what's causing it.
OSAR. See him
Oh,
wings.
yes, they are. See them itty bitty eyes.
See him wings. MR Ducks.
Hey, y'all know how to catch a polar bear? You put a bunch of peas around a hole in the ice, and when he comes out to get a pee, to take a pee, you kick him in the ice hole. That was a joke that my ex-father-in-law told my 4-year-old. He told that to my 4-year-old daughter. Guess where she repeated that?
I guess.
All her friends at school. Yeah, and when she was in preschool. Yeah,
That was
it's
good.
great.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was like, thanks,
Take
Dad.
that hole, take a pee, kick him in the ice hole. You asshole.
Who was that? Johnny
Johnny Dangerously. He's like Roman Maroney.
Yeah. Yep. He spoke broken English, the gangster. Remember that? You asshole.
He couldn't cuss right.
If you're looking for a good brand of boots, I recommend Danners.
Dude,
Danner's really good.
Danner's-
Thoroughbred makes good boots.
You're going to spend a little more, but Danners makes some really rugged boots. If you get I got a pair of Danner Matterhorns years ago, and they're on like their third set of soles.
yeah. I'm on my second set of soles.
Yes.
They issued them to us before we went to Bosnia, and they're great. I still got them. They still work just fine.
I love my Matterhorns,
Yeah, Matterhorns are great, man.
and they keep your feet warm in very cold weather.
If you want a lower top hiking boot or something like that, you're going to pay money for them, but they'll resole them for you. It's Asolo, ASOLO. They're an Italian boot, and man, I wore those on a deployment, and those things are excellent.
Shape like steel toe Crocs and
Croc
sport
mode,
mode.
yeah. I'd be surprised if they made them. Who knows?
I wouldn't be either.
I had a pair of Crocs once.
I've
They
never
had-
owned a pair.
Dude,
Yeah.
I wore them when I was working in the ER in the intensive care unit because they were comfortable. And but I had the ones with the holes in them,
Yeah.
and I wore them until I dumped a whole catheter bag into my Crocs one night. Yeah, when you got pee socks walking around the ER, you're going squish, 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 squish. Yeah.
Oh,
Robert Miller, thank you, sir.
Sentinels in the house, brother. We revived the canteen cup in your honor tonight, brother. I need to fill mine back up. I think I just drained it.
Yeah, I put too much in
it's
mine.
always a good night when Sentinel's in the house.
That's right. Thank you, brother.
Ranger. What's up, old man? He's over here crop dusting me again.
Sentinel, did you ever get your Hawking?
Yeah, did you get you a Hawken yet there, Sentinel? The only ones I've been able to find are 50 cal. I haven't found a 68, but I know they made them.
Yeah, I found that the 50 cal not reproduct, but the kit. I think I'm gonna save up and get me one of these kits.
I want one of the kits.
Yeah.
Yeah, splash a little bit more in my canteen cup.
What you got there?
Oh,
Old Smoky?
He's got that same. How many bottles is that now? How many bottles have you
Oh.
done?
I quit counting.
Robbie, that bottle you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got like that much of it.
I don't even
Angie,
have one.
Angie liked it.
He said his was done in like
A day.
Yeah, Angie liked it.
Yeah, like 2 days, man. I put it in my coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Me and John were hitting it, putting it in the coffee. It's like Irish cream almost, man, but it was.
Oh, it is. It's delicious. Make a Gallic coffee out of it.
Yep.
Glad you liked it, boys.
Any other suggestions for kits, y'all? I mean, we about
If you've got a good well equipped med kit, those little alcohol swabs will burn. You can light one of them to help start fires with.
yeah, but you need to refresh them about every 6 months or so, because those you'll go to pull one out and it's going to be dry as a powder house.
Yeah, dry.
Since we're talking about fire, another good thing that a lot of people don't think about, but there's plenty of videos on YouTube about how to make them or how to make it. Char cloth.
Yeah, the char cloth.
Yeah.
Easy to do.
Yeah,
Good.
really easy to do. But you can make a ton of it, and
You know, bin down it from the dollar store for $1, and you can
Mhm.
make the whole thing of char cloth and put it in different packs.
Mhm.
I didn't understand what y'all said because y'all got muffled there in the room. What y'all say?
Char cloth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and my buddy John just did some primitive fire starting when he came down to visit from Wyoming, and we were out in the barn working on some stuff, just making some primitive fires. And that char cloth,
That stuff works great.
Works really
Enki said, could a 10 millimeter take down a dog man in the event of self-defense? Well, funny you should mention that. The best firearm you can possibly have is the one you're well versed with. I would much rather have a handgun I'm familiar with than a far more powerful one I didn't know how to shoot. But I'll let Mr. Doc handle the same advice that he gave me when I was working on a particular scene on how to use black powder pistols to take down a dog man. And he gave me a good lecture on what it's not what you're shooting it with, it's where you're hitting it at. Doc, you want to let him know?
All right, so let's think about arterial points where you got arteries that are more exposed, because in this box area from your collarbone down your belly button, everything is, a lot of it's covered by your rib cage, right? And so bones can do funky crap with bullets. So what we're looking at maybe is hitting them in the neck, up under the armpits if they're at a quartering angle, or even if you can, a pelvic shot, because you hit something in the pelvic arteries, the iliofemoral junction there, you're going to cause a big disruption to the system there, because massive blood loss, a lot of pain, and if you hit somewhere in the pelvis, your pelvis is your foundation. That's your stability. So I mean, it might still be alive and can hurt you, but it might not be mobile. So I'm gonna go for those areas where, think of it as kind of like chinks in their armor, because if you're talking about a dog man or even a Sasquatch, if you had to, I mean, I don't want to kill any of them, but if it was a life or death situation, look for the quote unquote chinks in the armor, because you're talking a very heavily muscled, think of their bone structure in those suckers, so I want to go for the soft tissue, the soft bits. And I don't care if it's man or if it's cryptid, but you hit something in the ding ding, in that little nether region, it's gonna take the fight out of it. It is definitely not going to be happy with you.
And I mean, a 10 millimeter, man, it's been proven that it's taken down grizzly bears, but it's all about shot placement too.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not going to hit a grizzly bear in the top of the head. I mean, it's been known stories that the bullets just boop right off.
It's going to graze right off. I mean,
if you can aim at the carotid, the brachial, or the femoral, you can cause something even very big to bleed out.
I mean, I sent the story to DA. I don't know, it was a couple of months ago, maybe over a year ago, about the well-known hunter that's all over YouTube. He was out in Kodiak Island hunting elk with him and his brother and somebody else, and they were sitting at the camp, and they had the elk strung up, and this grizzly bear, this Kodiak bear, came out of nowhere and rushed him at the camp, and he unloaded, I want to say 6 shots into this thing, and by the time it went down, he rode the bear. He was on the bear's back, rode it down the side of the mountain. When the game warden got there and they did the autopsy, they found 5 other slugs in the side of the bear from like 2-3 years ago that never penetrated.
Holy crap, man!
That were done. I think it was a 9 millimeter or a 38. And he plugged this bear with a 44 Magnum revolver, and that bear kept trucking, kept going. So
yeah, I mean, I would say this: I carry a 10 millimeter when I go backcountry here in Colorado. I carry a 10 millimeter, a 45-70, or my 458 SOCOM, and a 12 gauge loaded with slugs. And that 10 millimeter I've got loaded with Underwood ammo, 200 grain XTPs, or I've got the hard cast 200 grain hard cast lead bullets that'll give me some penetration. So if you're carrying one, carry the right ammo. Don't carry like a defensive ammo like 180 grain jacketed hollow point. Carry a heavy load like Buffalo Bore or Underwood ammo. Those are the 2 companies I would suggest looking at for your ammo if you're going to be in an area that could have something like that there.
Okay. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to start, calling it in, DA?
Yeah, we'll start wrapping things up. You want to talk about our affiliate programs before we start wrapping things up?
Yeah.
How about a good word from the folks over at Dark Angel Medical? Doc, you know a guy?
I know a guy. He's a little tiny fellow. Um, if y'all ever are out in the woods, we've been talking about kits tonight. We've been talking about your evidence collection kits. We've been talking about basic survival kits. But something else you need to consider is a personal trauma kit, not just your band-aids and your boo-boos and your ouchies and things like that, but something that is no crap going to potentially end your life or the life of somebody you care about. So I would head over to darkangelmedical.com, check out all of our kits over there. And if you use the discount code Cryptid25, that'll give you 25% off of your order. That's the largest discount code we offer at this time. All of our kits are made from top quality items. We do not shortcut anything because it is potentially your life on the line. And so DA's carried them, Robbie's carried them, Anthony and Uncle John have carried them. And so it's something that they have trusted their lives on, and it's something that a lot of other people around the U.S. have trusted their lives on. And to date, we have 165 lives saved with our kits into our training. If you have a trauma kit, don't know how to use it, but want to learn how to use it, check out darkangelmedical.com, because we can check that box off for you too and give you some good training. We teach classes all over the United States. Just check our calendar out, our training calendar, and we may be in your neighborhood. If you can't be there, if you can't be there because of job, family, or you just don't like people, that's cool too. Check out our online training option as well. And you can get the information, and you can take them instead of a 2-day period of drinking from a fire hose, you can take up to a month to complete this program. But all of our kits are backed by our Kit for Life guarantee, which means basically if you use one of our kits to save yourself or somebody you care about, or maybe even a complete stranger, you use one of our kits to save somebody, we will replace what you have used absolutely 100% free of charge. And that is a lifetime guarantee. I look at it as like cheap life insurance. And also, if you're you're an employee of a place that has a HSA or FSA plan, they are HSA and FSA approved. So you can order those with your HSA or FSA card. So head over to darkangelmedical.com and you will not regret it.
Robbie, you want to talk about
that?
That's all. We done? What are we doing?
All right, our next affiliate, our next veteran-owned company is Scallywag Tactical. You hear us talk about them all the time. If you read DA's books, you hear Scallywag mentioned all the time. This is the Dew Claw. It's the Jolly Roger.
Well, I got one. I always carry mine with me.
Blue and the black versions. DA's got a ton of them. Doc's got quite a few himself.
Mine's in the truck.
But that would be the is that the S-word? Yeah, that's the S-word coming out.
That's the bounty.
Yes, that's the big boy. And I think Doc, you looking for a gunner, mate?
He's got the shitty grit on his face. Don't cut yourself.
But Craig makes some of the best knives that you will ever put your hands on.
Yeah.
They're razor sharp out of the box. I use this on everything. This is my everyday carry axe. That's the Borden axe that DA's got right there. It's not really green. That's just his green screen turned it's black.
This is one of my styles right here.
It actually is green. It's OD green, but the green screen reflects it out sometimes. There you go. You catch it just right, it disappears.
This is a great little knife right here. This is the mini jack.
That's the mini jack.
No, it's a great little everyday carry knife.
But going over to Scallywag Tactical, check out their blemished blades. If you want some of these knives at a really good price, a lot of times the boxes will get messed up and sitting in the warehouse or whatever, and they can't sell them as new, so they'll pass the savings on to you. So get on the Blemish Blade, see what they got, and after you go to the checkout, hit code DA Roberts 10 at checkout. Now add another 10% off. I got this and the Sailor Assisted Folder. Both of those are $45 knives. I got both of them with shipping for $26. And I said this before, I dare anybody to go to Walmart or
Anywhere.
Camping Supply World or
Dollar store.
Cabela's or anywhere and pick out one knife for $26 that will outdo
Yeah, you don't need to sharpen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
Craig?
outdo any of those knives that I paid $26 for both of them.
And not only are you supporting a veteran-owned business like mine with Craig, but Craig is just a good dude.
He absolutely is.
He's a great guy. He stands behind his product, and he's like me. He's not going to put out subpar crap.
Yep.
And so, if you get a Scallywag tactical knife, you're going to get a quality product.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's just like Doc says about his product. It's a product that you can, I've trusted Doc's products on duty. I trust Craig's products on duty. So is DA.
I
So
got
is
mine in
Anthony.
the truck. Yeah, I got all my stuff in the truck with me.
Yeah, we don't talk about these companies. We don't represent these companies because we get a kickback. We get any money off of them. We get them because we've used these products and we trust these products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just like DA said earlier, use what you trust. And then we practice what we preach. We use what we trust, and we trust these kits and these knives with our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't sharpened this thing it's been over a year since DA got this for me.
Yeah.
I haven't sharpened this thing in over a year, and I open everything with it.
Yeah.
So, and it's still sharp as a razor.
And, kind of goes right along with the Scallywag theme here. That when you're building your survival kit, a good blade is paramount. It is a good knife, a good quality camp knife can be used in so many survival situations, from prepping food to building your camp to keeping you safe and as a defensive weapon. I mean, a good blade is key. Get a good knife that you know how to use and keep it as part of your kit.
So,
Amen. It's just like a good med kit. You'll never regret getting top quality.
No.
I mean, you can go to Walmart or Dollar Store or Harbor Freight or Ace or any of these places. You can get a knife, a cheap knife for $10-15 bucks, and you're gonna constantly be sharpening it.
Gerber.
It's gonna break.
Go to Gerber. You go to Walmart, pick up a Gerber for, I think they're $7 now at Walmart.
You can't expect first-rate results with third-rate products, and the proof is in the pudding. When you need that sucker to work, you need it to work.
I bought this one at Walmart. I had it a week when the tip of it snapped right off, and I wasn't like digging on prying or on anything. I was cutting something open and snapped the tip off. It's a Tac Force from Walmart.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, it was a $10 pocket knife. I got it because it had a window punch on the end. But the first time I was cutting something open that had any resistance to it at all, snapped the tip right off of it.
That's right.
Oh well.
So go check out Scallywag Tactical.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the Blemish blades. Check out their fixed blades. Their kitchen knives. They got kitchen knives, which DA says some of the best kitchen knives he's ever used.
They're the best kitchen knives I've ever had.
Get them. You go to checkout. Use code DA Roberts 10. Get you an extra 10% off of that, and they're going to ship really quick. You can pay if you've got PayPal or what's the not Cash App. What's the other one?
The one I use.
Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo.
You can pay on Venmo with it and quick shipping. I ordered those two pocket knives. Ordered them on I think on one of our Saturday night shows, and by Tuesday they were at my house.
Well, boys, I know we said that when we hit 5,000 subs that we were going to do something special, and I haven't updated everybody in a while. But we're at 4685. We're 315 away from hitting that 5,000. Now I know I'm going to be giving away some books at 5,000. Not just one or two. I'm probably going to give away 4 or 5 books, maybe even a whole series. I'm also going to be giving away some of these patches, which I do need to get some more of these ordered in. And I've got some Scallywag blades that I'll be giving away as well.
There you go.
So we are very close to hitting that 5,000 mark, folks.
That works, man.
I said that if we hit 5,000, Doc's going to give away a spear kit.
What are you doing with that?
Badass.
Oh, nice.
Doc's giving away a spear.
It's going to have the. You can't see it. It's going to have the team on here as well.
We're giving something away, me and Robbie. If you get the 5,000, we'll go to dinner with anybody. But you got to pay.
Anthony bringing the crayons.
Yeah, but you got to pay for dinner.
I'll even write "Embrace the Suck" pocket Doc on the back of it.
There you go.
And Doc and I are actually, in commemoration of our 5,000, Doc and I are both going to be doing something special, right, Doc?
That's correct, sir.
What are you doing? Putting on dresses? What are you doing?
No, Doc will be. Show Anthony what you're doing, Doc.
What are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing?
Doc is going to get the the Wild Hunt tattooed on him, and I'm getting the Dark Angel tattooed on me.
That's right.
Oh, nice. You know what? That's not a bad idea, man. I can use some more ink, like right here, and just come down the forearm with it.
I've only got like 9 tattoos. I need another one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm covered too.
I got 11, so
yeah,
I gotta get to an even number.
I think I could do that. I'd like to get that Dark Angel one come straight down off of this. The Archangel he's got. He's got the Archangel of Michael. That'll look badass.
But you weren't there that day when we found this out. Last time we talked about this, somebody asked him, we were talking about the tattoos, and somebody asked him what that was, and he just kind of laughed at me and goes, "That's actually me." And that, and I'm like, "You mean I'm getting you tattooed on me?"
I considered it the angel, Michael, the angel.
No,
I'm getting Michael on my right arm.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it when I seen his logo. I thought it was the Archangel Michael. So
that's right. Well, I mean, our logo pays homage to Saint Michael because
I
was a paramedic and a paratrooper. So, Steve Lamb has a good question for you, DA.
What's that?
What book should you read first?
I would start. There's a chronological order of the books on the website, but I would start with, since it starts in 1865. I would start with the new one, which is Dark Frontiers. First Hunt. It's set in 1865 at the end of the Civil War. But after that, the next one I would go to would be Apex Predator Wolf Moon.
And Miss Lene has a question for you.
Shoot.
I was thinking about doing that, but doing a whole sleeve to incorporate it.
Steve, I'll get with you when I get back and get you the timeline.
Miss Lene says, DA, I want to buy a copy of Dark Frontiers, but I want you to sign it. How much is it?
Hell,
I don't even have any of those in stock yet. I need to order some in. Miss Lene, you just, when I get some in, I'll let you know and we'll take care of it.
I'll tell you what, if anybody's in the chat that's an artist, why don't you guys draw something up for me, Robbie, and Doc, but I want a full sleeve to come off of this one, to come all the way down and wrap around over my Virgin Mary right here to incorporate that. So if you can do something with Team Odin, Wild Hunt, and Doc's logo, come up with it, and I'll try to get a full sleeve done. It's a lot of money,
Pretty
but
bad.
That'd be rad, man.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Let's get after it.
I do. Somebody can draw something up, I'll go and do it. I mean, the one on my leg, man. I mean, I sat there for hours, and that's a full, and that's not even colored. That bitch hurt on my leg.
Uncle John said, get a hold of Shane. Anthony.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Shane could do it probably. with the graphics. He can design something. I forgot about that. He's pretty good with that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Ryan.
Who?
Ryan.
Oh.
Illustrator, but Ryan's a good artist too.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, if somebody could come up with something, man, that'd be great. I'll incorporate it right in. It'll be badass. Yep. Yeah, he did my logo. Shane did my logo. The Guanodon. That was cool as hell. And he came up with that within, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? He came up with that?
So Doc, you need to find us a good tattoo parlor up in Colorado.
I know.
Hey, folks, if you're interested, I just posted the link in the chat.
Yeah.
We have DAX Machina merch now on the merch store. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, tumblers, banners, all kinds of stuff.
I don't want no cheese dip tattoo artists doing me. I see how bad they screw up.
Yeah, Robbie, I know a couple of good places out here. We just gotta put it in advance, because I know Angie's been wanting one or a couple.
If they're that good, like he says, if they're that good and you gotta wait a year to get in to see them.
Yeah, there's a wait list.
Well,
That's for sure. They're good.
yeah.
Josh Dalton says, Anthony, since you want 3 images, what about using Celtic knot as a base to fill in images with the dots?
I would, but I got Japanese art above it. So if I can come in with some Japanese art with waves and to blend it in, I would. But I don't think the Celtic would match with the Japanese art.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my right arm as my my other arm. This is my Dexter. This is my Sinister. So I'll use this one as my heathen arm.
Yeah, if I could come in with some waves and some cherry blossoms or something like that to blend in, I'm more than happy to do it.
Well, there's something else we need. We need to incorporate some runes in there.
Right.
Definitely
need to incorporate some runes in there. Tear, something like that for strength. So maybe even some old Roman legionnaire stuff in there.
I was thinking of like a Spartan helmet, something like a Spartan helmet, like the full.
There are other possibilities for tattoos besides the wild hunt, right?
What?
Let me show you as soon as this one's done loading.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that's the image from Dark Frontiers.
I like that.
The aces in it.
I didn't forgot about that.
I like that.
Jessica's on. Hey Jess.
Hi Jessica.
Hey Jess.
How you doing? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Somebody wants to come up with an artist rendering for me, Doc, and Robbie, and something with that. I mean, I'll do both. One arm and the other arm. I don't give a hoot. Once you get a tattoo, it's like you're addicted. You can't stop. So, and it's better than doing drugs. I can tell you that. So,
Tomb, he said that's perfect tattoo material. If anybody wants a copy of that for a tattoo, I will send you the high res version of the image. Contact me on my email address, daroberts@net. I'll send you the high res versions of those images so you can get the best, cleanest possible image transfer. Only thing I ask is that you send pictures or post them on the Facebook group of the tattoo, because I would love to see them.
yeah, that'd be badass. Try to get Uncle John to get one. He got one tattoo. Not one.
Hey, you know what, DA?
What's that, bud?
I know the people in Kerrville, Texas at San Saba make these for me.
Mm-hmm.
The form fit?
Yeah.
Are those the form fit ones, Doc?
Yeah, flex fit. Yeah.
I love those hats. Yeah.
What if we got these? You want me to send them the logo that I had, the file?
Yeah, find out how much it would cost.
To see how much it would cost.
Now that I've paid the Dane Guild to Uncle Sam, I might actually be able to afford something.
Yeah. Let me run into them, because I got to re-engage with them tomorrow, because I got another hat idea they're supposed to be working on, and I hadn't heard hiding their hair from them. So
I'm going to be adding some merch to the merch store too. I'm going to add some Dark Frontiers logo merch. and they do allow certain hats to be made on the Teespring store, but I haven't found a DAX Machina clean black and white version that they will accept. They're very particular about the image quality on the hats, but I do want to upload the Dark Frontiers one. There's already a Nightmare Hunter and Ragnarok Rising hats available, but I need to get the Dark Frontiers and the Codename Wild Hunts. But those would be awesome to have. I want some Wild Hunt hats.
Yeah, Wild Hunt would be good, and the Dark Frontier, call that one the Gunfighter hat.
There you go.
Yeah, those flex hats are good. I used to sell those flex hat, the flex form hats at Walmart.
Yeah. These things
are Walmart all the time.
This is my favorite hat, man.
Yeah, man. I have one and I wore the hell out of it. It's all ripped.
Yep. I wear the hell out of it
anymore. And if you get one that's form fitted, you're paying $50 for it. Easily.
These won't cost that much. I sell these on my website for $25.
Yeah, that's cheap compared to the ones you would buy that were like that. Well, it was at 2 hours and 10 minutes, guys. What do you want? I know DA's got to run.
Yeah, let's pee on the fire and call in the dogs. Yeah, that's the logo I'm talking about, DA.
There we go. All right. Miss Lene says, add cowboy hats too. Us cowboys and girls got to have fun too. I will have to hunt for a place that does custom cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I hope that tonight's show was as informative as it was entertaining. I hope you guys were able to glean some useful information out of our ramblings. But yeah, if you're going to build an evidence collection kit, we covered some of the basics. There's always more. There's always something else that you would want to add. But you can build a decent evidence collecting kit for not a lot of money. Put it in an old fishing tackle box. Put it in an old backpack or your old gym bag. Just something with enough room to put your basic kits, your basic supplies in, and make sure that you're documenting time, date, location, everything, every bit of information you document about the evidence you collect. And remember, if you're also going to be out there, those survival kits might be more than just something fun to grab. They might be what saves your life. Because no evidence is worth losing you. You don't have to worry about proving the existence of Sasquatch or Dogman to those of us that are here, as we already believe. It's more important to us that you come home safe. So be safe. Take things that you can use to keep yourself safe and to keep yourself healthy. Doc pointed out some great stuff that like emergency food rations. We were talking about just power bars, basic power bars. Those, throw a few of those in your pack. They can keep you nourished, if not well fed, for a few days.
Those little ravioli pop tops too, and I used to keep those in my day pack when I used to go out hog hunting. And the Vienna sausages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's protein right there. I mean, beef jerky, great form of protein.
Beef jerky is a great one.
And you can get bags of it at around here. There's a place called the Rural King. You can get giant bags of them for like $3-4. I mean, it'll last you for a month. So
take bug spray.
Yeah,
and some good first aid gear. The life you save very well could be your own.
And if you're down in South Florida, the Melaleuca trees in South Florida is a form of bug repellent. The water trees.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you take it and rub it on you.
And if you're in a colder climate, cedar needles. Cedar is a natural bug repellent.
Yeah.
There's also 1,000,001 medical uses, but that's another show entirely. But I think we covered a lot of good bases tonight. I want to put together a couple of more comprehensive lists, and we'll try to I'll get with Robbie and Doc and everybody, and we'll come up with some good, basic lists of items to look for, and we'll put those out on the social media and on the blog here in the next few days. We'll try to get those up to you guys as quickly as possible. But above all else, just remember, the most important thing is that you come home safely. No evidence is worth losing you. So just be careful, be prepared, and and have a plan. Make sure somebody knows where you're going to be and when you're going to be back, and be safe, because 911 might not be a feasible option. If you're off the beaten path and there's no cell signal, that cell phone is now just so much useless junk, because it's, all you can do is take pictures with it at that point. So please be careful. Consider your options. Have a plan when you go in, and have a plan to come home and come back and be safe and share your information. We'd love to hear your stories. So hope you guys had a good time with us tonight. I know we had a good time talking about it, and we will probably do something along these lines again. I want to do some more like primitive medicine type stuff. Doc is talking about adding survival stuff to his Dark Angel channel, which is absolutely fantastic. Having some medical advice and some survival advice right there on the same kit. And Doc knows a lot of folks in the industry that could really put a big spin on this. So yeah, GPS is a good thing to have.
And something I was going to say along those lines. I'm not trying to. I know we're Arkansas, good night, or Ozarks, good night, but emergency personnel locator, like a Spot Messenger or a Garmin InReach, something like that, would be a good thing.
Or a sat phone if you can afford one.
Yeah, sack phones. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that was just something else I was thinking about as he wrote
GPS. Great thoughts.
Yeah.
But folks, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you guys on Saturday night. We're going to be talking about the Ocala Bigfoot Festival. Anthony and Robbie are going to be on hand at the Ocala Festival if you're going to be there. So go up and say hey and give Anthony a box of crayons and ask Robbie about his scallywag collection. And I'm sure they'd be glad to talk to you at the convention. I was hoping to be there myself, as was Doc, but unfortunately things just kind of plotted against us that we won't be able to do it. But if they're going to have that at the same location next year, keep my fingers crossed. I do plan to be there next year if at all possible.
It's going to be held here from here on out because of the size, how big it is.
And hopefully in the future it'll be more than a one-day event.
Yeah.
So hopefully this Saturday they'll be able to tell us all about the Ocala Bigfoot Conference, and keep your fingers crossed, maybe they'll actually have some pictures of the Bigfoot prints that they could find out in the Ocala National Forest. So you guys, if you guys are going out there, even if you go out there, during the day or even at night, be safe, be careful. Remember the basic survival stuff we talked about. And folks, we will see you guys on Saturday night. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and I hope you have an awesome week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.